Hail, intrepid viewers, and welcome back to Wayhaven Chronicles, Book 1. We're on Chapter 2 or so, inside an abandoned building, about to go check out a fluttering plastic curtain. I swallow hard, balling my free hand into a tense fist at my side before relaxing my fingers. With slow, steady footsteps, I approach the plastic curtain, readying myself for whatever might lie behind. A sudden flurry of movement sounds from behind me, and my heart leaps into my throat. My instincts take over, and I face the noise with hands raised. I instantly raise my hands, hoping whoever it is will see I mean no harm. Oh, I didn't know they meant hand raised like this. I was thinking hands raised like this. Whatever. Then suddenly I spin around like a ballerina. A flock of pigeons fly out of the rafters, and I realize the sound originated from them. I shake my head and let out a sharp breath, placing my hands back to my sides. My fingers shaking a little less now. Thank God no one's around to see that. I flinch again at the shrill ring of my phone from my pocket. The ringing stings against my hearing, which has grown used to the heavy silence. I snap my phone out of my pocket and press it to my ear without looking at who's calling. Detective Vimes, I say, my voice coming out in barely more than a whisper. Verda. You all right, Detective? Verda asks from the other end. I clear my throat at the sound of his voice, shaking myself from the burst of adrenaline beginning to drain from my body. Yeah, I just got a bit of a scare at the warehouse. Are you all right? Do you need me to send someone to you? I'm fine. There you go again. Don't really fancy being humiliated in my first detective. I can handle myself just fine. I can handle myself, Berta, I say with confidence. I don't doubt it, he replies. Though if it had been something like a ghost, could you be so sure? I frown. A ghost? Sure, it could have been. Those wood places are always haunted, or maybe even a werewolf. It is a full moon after all. I realize he is trying to lighten the mood, so I give a chuckle, glancing out through the dirt-stained window to the bright moon beyond. The moonlight highlights the tops of the skeletal trees that stretch out towards town. As if anything that exciting would find its way to Wayhaven, I say in a heavy tone. Though speaking of strange things, I found something odd about our victim. He lets his words trail off, and I shift on the spot, waiting for him to continue. I'm just going to wait him out. I shift on the spot, waiting for him to continue. It's a while, but eventually he speaks again. It's her blood. There's the sound of shuffling papers down the phone. It's not hers. I frown deeply, wondering if I heard him correctly. What? The blood in her body isn't hers. In fact, it's not even fully human. Animal blood, I offer as a guess. I'm not sure, he says, followed by a heavy sigh. It resembles human blood, but it's definitely not all hers. The best way I can think of to describe it so far is that a parasitic virus has mutated the blood cells in a major way. As I continue to talk, I decide to start making my way out of the warehouse. The echo of my voice around the empty room is a bit distracting. We didn't even check the upstairs yet. Okay, I don't understand. Is it contagious? I was hoping for a nice normal murder. I need more than that. Unknowns aren't helpful. Let's go with, I was hoping for a nice normal murder. We need to throw in some dry, wry levity. And here I was, hoping for a nice, normal murder. I say, ending with a sigh. Are there any of those? He says, chuckling. I won't know anything more until I get the results of the tests, but I'll make sure to send them off to the hospitals first thing tomorrow. For all the modern appliances the station has, coincidentally donated by the mayor after his son decided to join the force, there isn't enough room for the big machines. Any testing has to be done at the local hospital. All right, I'll see you tomorrow then. Yeah, see you then, he says. I hit the end call button and shove the phone back in my pocket, grabbing the metal door to head outside, only for someone to come barreling into me from behind, sending me flying through the door. Aren't you happy there's not an episode break right here? I collide heavily with the concrete and let out a loud hiss as pain jolts through my chest and arms. My flashlight skids across the concrete, the beam blinding me as it comes to rest a few feet away, shining brightly into my eyes. Forcing myself into my hands and knees, I glance up, my body stiffening to see a shadowed figure looming over me in the moonlight. Are you another one of my exes? Reach for my gun, tell them to stay where they are, try to get to the car, ask who they are and what do they want. Tell them to stay where they are. Stay where you are. Ugh. I call while trying to scramble back to my feet. I wince as a strike of pain courses down my back. Is there a knife or like a cleaver in my back? But I ignore it so I can stand straight in front of this person. I can barely make them out in the darkness, but it would seem they are a man. A gangly one. Just my style. We stand outside each other. We stand opposite each other. Neither making a sound. I'm unsure what to do next. My breath clouds into white plumes as it hits the cold air, and I ball my fists at my sides. I think you should come with me. My words are cut off short as, out of the darkness, another figure appears and slams into the side of the man I was just looking at. The two of them crash to one side, rolling behind a car. There's a loud grunt, and then the distinctive sound of concrete cracking under force. Is that distinctive? I don't think I've ever heard that sound. I make the step forward. My path is suddenly blocked by the appearance of 3 more people hidden by the night's darkness. Heavily outnumbered and completely confused, I have no choice now but to reach for my weapon. I yank it from the holster and point it at the group of shredded figures before me, the sounds of fighting still echoing from behind the car. None of the figures seem to pay me much attention, a fact I'm thankful for. Instead, they are all focused on the fight continuing out of sight behind the car. As I suck in a sharp breath, the sudden cold hits my lungs and shocks me from my momentary paralysis of confusion and anxiety. I take a wide step forward and call, "Everyone stop with the police. What the hell's going on here? Don't leave me out of this action. You're all gonna have to come with me." Oh, what the hell's going on here? Real professional sounding. I take a wide step forward and call, "What the hell is going on here?" The heads of the 3 figures snap around to face me, breaking their necks instantly, and I flinch at the eerily quick motion. "Who are they?" one of them asks. "Confused, apparently," another replies, no small amount of sarcasm in their tone. The car beside us suddenly rocks slightly, the 2 people behind it finally surfacing. The taller of the 2 slams the other into the bonnet of the car, and I frown as the metal buckles under the heavy impact. "Alright, that's enough," I yell, surprised at the commanding tone of my voice, considering the situation. The figure holding the man glances down at my words, but as soon as they do, their captive cracks his fist against their jaw. The captor stumbles back from the impact. I have to blink rapidly as the man flashes past me in a blur so fast, it can't be real. "Don't let him go!" "Don't let him go!" the figure calls, ripping their jaw from the hit. The group tenses, obviously about to run after the speeding figure, but I move forwards and come to stand before them, my gun still raised. "Stay where you are." Amazingly, they do, all 4 of them, and it gives me a slight boost in confidence. 4? I suddenly realize just how outnumbered I am, and my breathing speeds up a little. I can barely see them through the dark, not even able to make out their genders or specific features. My eyes flicker to my car where the radio is. The group of them now stand as a barrier between me and the vehicle. Backup is out of the question. Still, I have my gun. I tighten my fingers around the hilt of the weapon, finger hovering over the trigger. I've never shot a gun at a live target. I don't want to start now. Never shot a gun at a live target, but I might not have a choice. I never shot a gun at a live target, but I have no issue doing it now. I fired a gun before necessary, but now it seems like it might be when necessary, and now it seems like it might be necessary. I fired a gun before, but I don't really want to have to do it again. I fired a gun before and have no issue doing it again. I don't really want to have to do it again. Well, I guess there's a difference between firing a gun and shooting somebody. Those are technically 2 different things. I have no problem firing a gun again. I do have a little bit of an issue shooting someone. Do I, though? Does this character? I feel like this character is really not going to take a crap from anybody. Let's go with the last one. I have shot my gun before, and I have no issue doing so again if they push me. My hold tightens on the grip, and I straighten myself on the spot. One of the shredded figures shovels a step closer. I shoot them. Look, whoever you are. Don't come any closer, I warn. Or what? Another asks from the darkness, the question coming out in a half-taunt. I swing my gun around to face the speaker, but I can barely make them out in the gloom. I frown deeply. "I will shoot," I call, my voice unwavering. My steady stance and confident grip on the gun cannot give any indication otherwise. There's a heavy silence broken only by my heavy breathing and the slight breeze that rattles through the surrounding trees. "They're bluffing," one of them suddenly says. "I say, knock them out and let's go." There's a quick shift of movement from the corner of my eye as one of them steps closer. I turn to them with a sharp breath. And shoot. I don't think I have time to draw my pepper spray, so I shoot. The crack of the gun is like lightning as it pierces through the quiet. I grit my teeth as the recoil sends a spasm pulsing up my arm and into my shoulder. My body is still battered from my fall earlier, though I managed to keep my balance. And amazingly, so does the person I shot. For a moment, I wonder if I hit them at all, and they suddenly give a small grunt and grab at their right shoulder. They should have been on the floor after being shot at such close range. Shit, they actually shot you. There's a peal of laughter from one of the other figures, and my eyes widen to hear amusement in it and not concern for their friend. I wonder if pepper spray would have been more effective, assuming I could have drawn it and used it in time. Anyway, there's no shoot them again option. That's good. Sorry, I'm sorry. No, I'll do it again if you don't come with me now. Please don't want to do it again, just come to the station. I warned you, did I? Yeah, sure, why not? I warned you, I call, my fingers twisting tight around the gun. Now come with me to the station, all of you. That's true, the one who is laughing says in reply. You did, they did warn you. Shut up, the wounded one growls through the darkness. Their conversation makes me swallow hard, and I try to plant my feet firm on the ground to steady myself. Bang! A metallic bang makes me swing around, only to find it's the doors of the warehouse creaking in the breeze. I turn back to face the group, but they vanished. How could they be gone? I didn't even hear footsteps. With a heavy sigh, I stumble towards my car and lean heavily against the side. Adrenaline courses through my body, but I know in the morning I'm going to hurt like never before. From what? I guess you did get tackled, kinda. A dull ache throbbing at my side proves my point. My gaze turns down to the crumpled dents in the bonnet of my car, and I groan. I just want to go home to bed. I don't want to be of use to anyone tomorrow. I won't be of use if I don't rest. I better check around the scene a bit first. I'll call the station, ask them to be on the lookout. I want to do both of these. I'm going to do the second one, though. Even with my body beginning to ache, I know I should look around before leaving, as much as my bed is calling to me. I push myself up and limp back towards the area where the fight and the strangers were. I bend down to retrieve my flashlight and pass the beam over the area. There is nothing of interest. I am just about to give up and head home when the light catches something dark and glistening on the concrete. I shift over to it, crouching down to find it is blood. Must be from the person I shot. Moving back towards my car, I grab a small evidence kit and scoop up some of the blood on a cotton swab, figuring it can't hurt to test it out. I might get lucky and they might be in the system. With a satisfied nod, I hobble back to my car, really beginning to feel the aftershock of my earlier fall. The car engine coughs to life as I stick the key in the ignition. I put it into gear at the moment it starts, never having been so eager to get home. Meanwhile, in an office building at the edge of Wayhaven. Ha ha ha! Felix bursts out a laugh as he walks up to the door of the out of the way office building. Who is Felix? Is that the mayor's kid? Ava shoots him a glare. Are you finished? Felix glances at her before falling to laughter once more. I think Felix is new. Ava groans and shakes her head, slamming open the door with such force it almost rips away from its hinges. I'm running out of voices. Nat. What does Nat sound like? Nat sounds like... Let's take Matt... We're going to try and go Australian. We'll see how I do. Take it easy, Nat says, placing a concerned hand on her friend's shoulder. Ava tries to do as suggested, but her back still tightens, adding to the intense, white-hot throbbing pain from the wound in her right shoulder. Oh, these are the 4 monster people, who I already kind of voiced. Whatever. Excuse me. Felix swipes away a tear from his eyes and grins, the expression far too much like a panther for anyone to think it's genuine. And Felix says, I still can't believe they shot you. And Nat's like, they were scared, Nat says. I don't care why they did it, Felix replies. I only care that they did. The look on our almighty leader's face when it happened. He claps Ava on the back and lets out another chortle, not noticing the tightening of Ava's jaw or the balling of her fist at her side. We should have taken them out as soon as we got there, Mason says, a guttural growl rumbling in the back of his throat as he speaks. Felix turns to Mason, arching a thick black brow. You're always such a people person. Nat rolls her eyes, her expression like a parent tired of their bickering children. The group continues up the narrow flight of stairs until they reach a dark wood door, a panel of opaque glass obscuring the room inside. Ava pushes open the door, the group coming to a stop at the sight of a slim woman in a gray suit. A flash of sleek, dark brown hair streams down over her shoulders. She looks up from the manila folder she was peering at and glances at them. I was expecting you an hour ago. A frown creases her brow as she looks over Ava's wounds. What happened? Felix barely stifles a laugh as Ava waves away her question with a sharp breath. The group bustles inside, spreading themselves about the room. Nat takes a seat on the opposite side of the mahogany desk, fidgeting slightly when it's obviously not as comfy as it appeared. Mason manages to scout out the darkest corner, a flash of flame glimmering in his eyes, followed by a ring of cigarette smoke circling from his lips. Felix flops onto one of the other padded chairs, arms and legs droop over the sides and head lulled back. Ignoring her companions, Ava strides to the only window in the room. The fragile, slatted blind quivers at her touch as she peers through it to the street below. This is the woman. There's no one around, the woman says. She lets the file in her hands drop to the desk, the slap of paper on wood sounding at the light impact. So, Agent, Felix says, shifting slightly, what are we doing in this dump? Do you mean the town or the office? Mason asks. Both, Felix replies. The two grin at each other. Mason's stream of smoke becomes ragged as he chuckles. And this is... I don't know. You should be more serious regarding this matter. You know how the last team in Wayhaven ended up? Her trailing words make them all tense, remembering the photos of the mangled bodies. Well, you did send a team of demons to do a vampire's job, Felix mutters, obviously trying to break the heavy silence. I see. Interesting. What? Check out the demons. It's a good prequel. I called you here because I have a new objective to add to your current mission, the woman says, catching the group's attention. You are to protect the next victim. What? Mason splutters. Even Nat leans forward, lacing her fingers with confusion. Protection? That's not exactly our specialty, Felix says, everyone in the room nodding in agreement. The agent's lips thin, and she marches in front of the desk to stare at them. You're on my team, she says, her gaze drawn back to the folder on the desk. There's no one else. I mean, we, the agency, would trust with this assignment. The killer has run out of potential victims. There's no one left with the requirements he's after. The ones with the mutation in their blood? Nat asks, and the agent nods in confirmation. Why does the killer want them? Mason asks, through a puff of smoke. Doesn't the mutation mean he can't use his pheromones on them to get them to do what he wants, like normal humans? That didn't help his other victims, but we're not sure of his reasons, the agent replies, quickly. You know how he is. You just have to find him and stop him. And also keep his new targets safe, Felix says. No trouble at all, then. Who are we being assigned to? Nat asks, leaning further forward. The agent frowns, her eyes watering for a moment. It's a soft expression the group has never seen from the woman in all their 10 years of working with her. She begins, then straightens herself, her stiff expression returning. She reaches behind her to the folder, throwing it onto the small table in the front of the group. It's my child. The group, surprised by this sudden announcement, and not even aware Agent Vimes had a child... Wait. Oh, Agent Vimes. Is this one of my exes? Is it my mother? Is it my sister? Interesting. Had a child. Eventually glance at the photo now spread in the open file. Okay, now Ava gets to talk. Has Ava talked yet? I don't think so. We gave someone a really high-pitched voice before. You've got to be kidding me, Ava says, with a loud groan, gripping her wounded shoulder. Felix bursts out laughing. Their new assignment is protecting the detective they just met outside of the warehouse. It is Mummy. Oh, Mummy, I'm so glad you're here to protect me. Well... This is going to be like a minute short of our episode, but we'll start the next chapter in the next episode. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that episode. Since your catchphrase.